good morning. We appreciate everyone who is here to join us this morning. We'd like to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the City of East Point and our inaugural virtual vendor fair. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here. I am the Director of Contracts and Procurement, Yolanda Broom, and we will just introduce the team in just a second to let you know who all we have here today. Okay. We have Ms. Deandra Taylor to my left. She is our buyer. Deandra will be talking to you this morning about W-9s and E-Verify affidavits. We also have our contract specialists in the room today, Mr. Tron Jones and Mr. Derman Lawrence. They are going to talk with you about the Iron Wave system and market surveys. And then Deandra Taylor is going to come back to you this morning to talk to you about how to make suggestions about our program, and I will then close the program. So as you can see, our goal is to ensure that every resident of the City of East Point receives the best value for our expenditures, which are their tax dollars, while we develop best practices, promote cost savings, and improve our operational efficiency. So again, welcome and thank you for celebrating Procurement Month with us this month. Ms. Deandra, you may take it away.
Good morning. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. I'm just going to go over the TIN matching and what that entails. TIN matching is when you want to become a vendor with the city. You will submit a W-9 and we will place a W-9 in the system. But before we do that, we have to match the TIN number in the IRS system or the IRS portal. Once that matches, then we enter it into our East Point internal system as a new vendor, and a vendor number will be assigned to you.
Anything additional on TIN matching, Deandra?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we will go on to the E-Verify.
E-Verify, it's a United States Department of Homeland Security website that allows businesses to determine the eligibility of their employees, both US and foreign citizens, to work in the United States. Note that this is not a federal law that's mandated to use E-Verify, but the City of East Point does E-Verify to ensure that we are in compliance with the federal rules and regulations.
Thank you, Deandra.
You're
So
welcome.
we're going to ask that our guests this morning hold questions, but I do have a couple of questions for you. So if I'd like to do business with the City of East Point and I send over my W-9, what happens if the TIN number does not match the IRS site?
If the TIN number does not match the IRS site, we will send it back to the person or the vendor, potential vendor that has submitted it, to find out if there is a DBA that they may not have put on the form, or if they have a company that they do business under that's not listed. So we need to make sure that the name that is on the W-9 matches the E-9 or the TIN number to make sure that we can put it in the system. If it doesn't verify, then it will get sent back.
Wonderful. Thank you, Deandra.
You're welcome.
So for everyone who's joined us today, you may take this time to drop any questions you may have about TIN matching, W-9s, or E-Verify in the chat, and we will answer your questions at the end of this presentation. We will go on now to insurance requirements, and I'll be handling that this morning. So the City of East Point has insurance requirements, and those requirements include commercial general liability, auto insurance, workers' comp, umbrella liability, professional errors and omissions liability, and cyber liability. And I want to tell you a little bit about each one. For the commercial general liability, you would have to have $1 million in coverage for each incident and $2 million in the aggregate. For the automobile liability, you're expected to have a $1 million single limit coverage and $5 million if you will be transporting any East Point employees or dropping off any equipment on site at the City of East Point. So that would be an additional $5 million. Under workers' comp, the state of Georgia requires that if you have 3 or more employees, you are required to have workers' compensation insurance. That insurance is a statutory amount, so the state changes that amount ever so often. So on the Accord Form 25 that you submit your insurance on, you would check a box that says you meet those Georgia statutory requirements. Under the umbrella liability, you're expected to have $1 million in coverage, and under professional liability and errors and omissions, you are also expected to have another $1 million in coverage. And there is a box that you would have to check to state whether or not your owners are covered under the errors and omissions. Under cyber liability, if you are doing any type of consulting work for the city of East Point where you gather personally identifiable information such as employees' names, our dates of birth, any information like that, you would be required to have a $1 million cyber liability policy. And also note that the city of East Point must be named as the additional insured under the commercial general, the business, automobile, and the umbrella liability policies. Sorry, I had to move the screen. So some other requirements we have is that when you submit insurance to the city of East Point, you have to only submit insurance from insurers who are approved to do business in the state of Georgia. And we can find out whether they're approved to do business in the state of Georgia by looking at their AM Best rating. That rating has to be either A for excellent or financial size category of at least 7. And that 7 means that they have at least $2 billion in assets. You have to also include all of the insurers' names and the NAIC number, the policy number, policy limits, expiration dates, and in that description of operations, we request that you include a solicitation number, project, contract, description there in that box. Make sure that your certificate holder is the city of East Point. You can see our address right there. It's also on our website, and please ensure that all of your accord forms have an authorized signature. Any questions about insurance requirements, please drop that over in our chat, and we will deal with those questions at the end of the presentation. So next on to Ironwave, Mr. Tron Jones will give you a little bit of information.
Good morning. As you can see on the screen, this is our Ironwave page. In order to do business with the city, you must register as a supplier through this portal. This will give you access to current bids, closed bids, awarded bids, and things of that nature. Could you go to the next slide, please? To register, only thing you would need to do is click on Supplier Registration, and you will enter all of your pertinent information, such as your company information, email addresses, and things of that nature. You will then receive a confirmation email with a link that you will need to click on in order to go back to Ironwave and finish inputting all your information. At this time, that's when you would add things such as your commodity codes and things of that nature that you're interested in receiving notifications about. Once you're done selecting all of your commodity codes, you will then review all the information, and if everything is correct, you would then click Register Now. You will then receive another confirmation email letting you know that you are now an active vendor with the city of East Point. Now, please do not be confused by Mrs. Taylor's presentation earlier regarding your TINs and submitting W-9s to the city. This does not make you a city of East Point vendor. What it does is allows you to have access to any open solicitations that the city may have at that time. And also, just to let you know, we will be posting a more detailed presentation regarding the Ironwave system on our website at a later date, but you will be notified once that information is available. And again, welcome to the city of East Point's Procurement Ironwave system.
Thank you, Tron. So on to our market surveys, we have Mr. Dorman Lawrence.
Good morning. Good morning. Market surveys are primarily used for processing or gathering information, analyzing, and interpreting information about the vendor's products or services. What this entails, guys, is that we're trying to get an understanding of the products that you all provide, the goods and services that you all provide. It also assists us in defining requirements and choosing procurement methods. We really want to do business with each and every vendor, not only here in the city of East Point, neighboring cities as well. So what we're trying to create is interest and find your availability in reference to doing our bids. We also expect vendors' technical and financial capacities. We get this information when we're doing market surveys, and we also get the price trends. A lot of the times, we're not just looking at the prices that are going out right now. We may not know the price in your industry. So we get this information from you guys, and this helps us develop bids at a more exact point.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. So I do have a question for you that I hope our visitors will be interested in knowing. So I've always heard that you're never supposed to call the procurement department. You're not supposed to contact them. How am I to fill out a market survey if I'm not supposed to be talking to people in contracts and procurement?
Unfortunately, that is so untrue. We want to open the lines of communication with each and every one of you all. You're not to contact the actual departments that are the bids are actually going through, such as public works or things of that nature. But for contracts and procurement, we speak directly to the vendors. We find out this information to create a better environment for you all. So when you're bidding, and we can even assist you into, as Tron discussed earlier, your IronWave and so on. So anything that you need, please feel free to contact us.
Thank you so much, Darman. So next we'll have suggestions by Ms. Taylor, and I'm just going to take a quick look at the chat, make sure we don't have any questions, and we do not. So go ahead, Ms. Taylor.
So as stated earlier, when Mrs. Broom introduced the presentation, if there's any questions or concerns, and to piggyback on Derman, you can reach us at purchasing@eastpointcity.org. And when you send your questions, concerns, or suggestions to that email, anyone on our team that has been present today will be happy to assist or answer your questions.
Wonderful. Thank you, Deandra. And Deandra did remind me before the meeting to state to you all that we plan to have meetings like this either quarterly or monthly if they're needed. So there will be presentation posted on the East Point website under our page in just a few days once we gather all of this information. So we'll have more detailed information about the insurance. We will have screenshots as to where you need to go to click on every page in IronWaves. We will have marketing information, and Deandra will set up a little suggestion box so that you all can send your suggestions to us. So we really appreciate you coming today. And just as a reminder, our team includes the following: myself, Yolanda Broom, Director. Deandra Taylor is our buyer. Tron Jones and Derman Lawrence are our contract specialists. Carl Hall, who isn't with us today, but I think he is on the Zoom call. Hello, Carl, is our inventory control specialist. He runs our warehouse along with Derek Corbin and Kendrick Jenkins, our warehouse clerks. Thank you again for joining us today.
Question and answer. Somebody put a question and answer.
Okay, Deandra is just to let me know that there may be a question in the chat. Thank you, Deandra.
Okay.
It's just Carl.
Go to the other one, the Q&A.
Okay, wonderful. Will this presentation deck be? Yes, it absolutely will be available. Plus, since this deck was only 6 or 7 slides, we're actually going to put more detailed information that you need, such as the insurance requirements. And we're going to go step by step with you on IronWave. We will put all of that information. We can put up a blank insurance form for you. We can put up a blank W-9 from Ms. Taylor's desk. We will do everything we can to assist you. And please note that if we miss anything, you are very welcome to reach out to us on purchasing@eastpointcity.org. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We hope this is just the first of many, many talks that we can have to make you more comfortable in doing business with the city of East Point, because of course, that's the point. Thank you and have a great day.